What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpolia sitting on the couch making some money investing in fractional real estate online. As usual, it is Friday, so you're getting an update on the 52-week challenge. If you don't know what that is, this is just where, it's a way to, if you're new to fractional real estate, get in and, commit to picking up one share, one fraction, one piece of real estate every single week, just to sort of help you avoid the analysis paralysis. It's just an accountability thing that a couple of us talked about, quite a few months back, and so I decided to make a video series of it. So I'm just sharing what I'm buying each week. You can feel free to jump in the Discord and share where you're buying as well if you'd like to. Some people have been private messaging me. I've been getting emails, and really any way you want to get in touch with me, you can. You can put comments to this video. And if you don't want to talk about specific properties, you can just talk about the type and the platform, right? If you don't want to give away too many of your secrets. But it's the main purpose of my channel is for us to share ideas and strategies and thoughts on properties. So by putting out what I buy every week, I think it's helpful to share that. So not a super active week for me. I have, one purchase on Mogul, one purchase on Lofty, and just three notes on ground floor. I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about what I sold too, and so a concern that I have coming up as far as like um, reinvestments and liquidity. But first, to start off, ground floor, I only bought pieces of three notes. And you can see I had one small note pay off and I just broke it up into three. These are actually all ones that I had a little bit in already, but they were the only ones that had room left, um, that I could invest in this week. So I went ahead and did that. Um, yeah, that's still going well. How many notes do I have total at this point? It is 124 total. So, and I think I've had, yeah, 48 pay off in total, right? So, uh, one of the things that's interesting about this is, I'm trying to accumulate as large a a really wide diversification. It seems like it's going to be tough to get much higher than this number that we're at because I keep having payoffs almost as fast as they're putting new notes up. So I was thinking it was going to top off closer to 200 loans, but 124, it's quite a bit of diversification, but it's less than I expected. But anyway, picked up three of those this week. On Mogul, I just bought a little bit more of the Celeste. One of the things that I started thinking a little bit about is the pieces of, on Mogul, you get, I believe we're going to just get a K1 for every property. And, I decided I want to just put a little bit more money in each property that I buy, because if I'm going to have to take the time to deal with the taxes on each one, uh, I'd like to at least have made enough on there to pay to my accountant for the extra fee for each K1 that I have. It's one of the things that I am still very much just experimenting on all these platforms. It's why I haven't put a ton of money on any of them. But I don't want to lose money, right? And so, like, I think if I were doing the minimum and I'm having to do all this, if I'm getting a separate one of those, and I'm starting to get quite a few properties, I think I have 9 on here now. I could see that just being a problem. Um, so I think I'm going to bump it up a little bit, but still not make huge investments until I'm really comfortable with how they're doing. But so far, so far so good. I actually put out a short Mogul update video earlier today. I broke it up because these are two different playlists, which reminds me, please like and subscribe. In the description to this video, there is a link to the Discord that I mentioned where we talk about, fractional real estate investing. There are also links to all the different platforms I'm currently invested in. Uh, just because I invest in a platform doesn't mean that you should. You want to do your own due diligence on each platform and on any property on those platforms. Just because I buy one doesn't mean that you should or shouldn't buy that same property. Definitely, keep that in mind when you're buying on here as well. Or when I'm showing you what I bought, it doesn't mean necessarily that this is the right buy for you. And in that one I mentioned, ones that I didn't buy and that might fit in your portfolio better than mine. Anyway, this is the one, this is the Houston short-term rental. I had already bought a small piece of it. Um, I've been pretty happy with the performance of the short-term rentals I've had from them already. But the Axelrod, which is the other one, in this same market in Houston. uh, didn't have a great month this past month, but it started off really strong. And, with short-term rentals, I expect the fluctuation. And that's part of why it'll be a while before, I want to see how they do over a decent period of time before I'm really starting to allocate a lot of my net worth to any one of these properties or platforms. But let's see. So on Lofty, this is a different type of deal for me. I bought a piece of 86 Madison. You can see just 10 tokens. Um, this is a property that's run by Earl. If you've heard me talk about him before, if you've watched this channel, it's a short-term rental in Albany, New York. This one is a pretty big deviation from my strategy of buying really discounted tokens. I got it below this price point, and part of the reason why I bought it is because it did have a dip in price. This isn't one his properties are not ones that I think you could necessarily liquidate the day, if we had to sell them today. I don't love the basis in any of the properties relative to the token prices. It's not terrible, but it's not, it's not the deep discount that I'm trying to get in general on Lofty. I do really like him as an operator, and I think that I own a piece of one of his other properties in this area. I had sold quite a bit on Lofty this week, and then I'm going to go into that in a minute. But I wanted to, uh, so I don't like to let my money sit on there too much, and I wanted to reinvest. And this one dipped, and it's one that I had looked at in the past, and I almost bought some, but it was like the pricing was a little bit much for me. But with the dip, it made sense. Yeah, this is me here, I think. Yeah, I bought this dip. So, not a huge discount, but I really like him as an operator. I think that there are real risks to this property. If it weren't for who was running it, it's probably not one I would buy. And so it's not something I'm going to put a whole bunch of money into. It's definitely not my typical strategy. But it's a little bit more opportunistic about the price move, and because, like I said, I mean, I do have other ones that he's running. I really like the way that he runs them, even though his risk tolerance and the types of properties that he buys and the structures he's comfortable with are much different from what I typically would look at. Um, but for a small piece of my portfolio, I'm uh, I'm having a lot of fun, going along for the ride, right? And I honestly think that he will. It's more buying into his business, right? Into him as an operator than anything else. I think he's got his system set up, and it does, I think, way better they should. And I think that the reason you can actually, a real good display of that is he's buying these from neighbors that have also had them over time, and they're definitely worth more in his hands than they were in theirs. And so that's either he's running them better, he's rehabbing them. This is actually better looking than the other one that I have of his on this street anyway. But so yeah, and so like I mentioned, I've been selling a lot on Lofty. I have more cash just sitting there than I want to. I sold about a third of my Peoria stake. It was really just the price was up high enough that I got a really good return on my sale relative to my buy. And all of the ones that are coming from Yome, even though I think Peoria got handed over and it's going to be pretty clean, I think there's still some risk of a larger lawsuit that ties up every property that, and like, not that I think that it will. I don't think there's any real chance that we're going to lose this one, or that this isn't one that has like a title issues or anything like that. But I think that there's the potential for um just there being, so just getting a basically making it so none of the properties can be sold until it's all worked out. That would be, sometimes that's like really a worst case result. I don't expect it to actually affect it, but because that's one of the things that I think about. Um, and remember, none of this is legal advice. I retired my law license years ago. Um, but anyway, it mostly had to do with the price had moved to a point where I'm getting a good profit on the sale, more so than that worry. But I also think it might just take a little time to work things out, and it might be a little while before we get any yield. Um, I think it's possible Yom is holding some cash that we have. I don't know. But as that whole mess is still unfolding, um, I just figured I had more in this one than any of the other ones, and the price had moved up, so it was worth it. I also sold a little bit of Garden Gate. I really didn't want to, but the prices just moved up so high. One of the things, I talk about this a lot, like I don't want to ever like I think it's really hard to get hurt taking profits as long as we can find a new place to reinvest that money. And that's one of the things I'm starting to get a little bit worried about because we're seeing moves in prices in a lot of these. And I didn't sell all of it. I just sold a little bit. I think I sold 10 tokens in Garden Gate. I think I sold close to 60 in Peoria. And as it gets to a point where the profit looks really juicy on them, I think that, it's possible it could keep going up, but I'd always rather take some profits, and then if I'm wrong about the direction, right, or if it doesn't keep moving up, or if it doesn't stay, or if it dips, at least I got to take a little bit of it. Um, that's one of the things I really like about Lofty is that you don't have to make whole decisions, right? You can work a lot on the margins, and because of that, some of these properties I've bought and sold many times because the prices as they move, you get that benefit. And then the other one, I've got this Avenue L that's supposed to close. Actually, I think it was supposed to close yesterday. Hopefully, that was actually all done today. That vote went out. I don't know. But so I'm going to end up with this cash coming back. I'll probably, if Garden Gate moves up again, I mean, it's just a big move, right? From 28 to 40. Um, $12 relative to the 28 initial purchase price is a really nice profit. And so as much as I like this property, um, the yield relative to taking that profit, if I can find another spot to reinvest it, I'd rather do that. And so that's one of the things that I've started to notice. The prices of everything seem to be moving up, and I know there are a couple of people that are starting to spread their, allocate more of their money onto the platform. I mean, like Alec is one who's buying up a lot of the properties, and so, and there's a couple other people that I think are doing it a lot more quietly than him. And so I've really noticed prices on everything I like to buy is creeping up. Um, I think that's just going to turn into exit liquidity for me, right? I think, and this isn't, Odom. Well, we're not really that close to a sale on that one, but once that happens, then I'm going to have way too big of a chunk on here to be able to really take advantage of, whenever we have the few tokens that come out cheaply, right? I mean, which is what I'm always trying to pick those up, but I'm worried that I'm going to end up having some lazy equity, right? Having some cash just sitting in this account. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do if that happens. Maybe not though. What? All right, well, I am going to jump on this. I don't know. What am I missing? I'm going to just stop the video now and I'm going to do some due diligence and maybe buy this because that is a crazy low price and I don't know what's going on. Right, until next time, I'm going to keep making mistakes so that you don't have to. Okay, I came back real quick. I think it was just a UI issue showing that 297 per token because when I actually go in and try to submit an order, it's already showing 36.65. I refreshed it a few times. I don't know. You can see I get excited when I see those kind of discounts, right? And I want to jump into it. I knew this is one that had been planning on a sale and change management. Thought maybe somebody dumped tokens, but clearly they did not. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know that because I figured it out real quick. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and publish this video. So, yeah, already did the thing, so I'm not going to do it again.